Hi everybody, this is me reporting on last night's defeat at Ibrox where we exited the Europa League thanks to Benfica beating us 1-0. And since that's our last involvement in Europe for another year, I thought I'd wear this jersey commemorating Rangers' win in Barcelona in 1972 because who knows if we'll ever win another European trophy. So I thought I'd wear this before we put all thoughts of Europe behind us for another season. Anyway, last night it was a decent enough game. It wasn't a great game. Both sides attacking, but in different ways. Rangers obviously doing all the pressing, whereas Benfica were hitting us on the break every chance they got, and they were very good at it. It was a horrible night, torrential rain, the whole game. Who would have thought the weather would be as bad as that, and the equal of last week's leg in Lisbon when it was torrential rain as well. So just shows you global warming. Wonder if it will have any effect on Rangers' European chances in the future. Global warming. Anyhow, horrible night. Conditions underfoot got worse as the game went on, obviously. But both teams served up a decent enough game considering how bad the conditions were. You could see from the first 5 minutes or so that Benfica had good players, were a good team, strong, fast, athletic, well organised, obviously, skillful, and they had in Silva up front the sort of striker that we've needed for 2 or 3 years now. Pity we couldn't get him. It probably cost us about 50 million. Anyhow, it was a decent enough game. If I can explain from the beginning why my heading says Rangers were only playing with 9 men, that's because when we heard the team selection just before the teams came out, you're looking going, why is Scott Wright playing on the right wing? McCausland must be unfit or not fit enough to actually start a game. Same with Matondo, two of them on the bench, but he brings on our fifth choice winger to start the game. So that was as a man down there. And as always, when we start with Drossers up front rather than Benfica Silva, we're a man down right from the first minute, and so it proved. I heard later on the BBC commentary people on radio were saying that in the first half, Drossers had 5 touches, one inside the box. Not exactly what you need to do if you're a Rangers centre forward. Ask Ali, or Haitley, or Collinstein, or Jim Forrest, or Miller and Brand. But Drossers is as Drossers does, so absolutely hopeless again, just when we needed him. And of course, that's what I've been saying for months. This guy will let you down when it comes to the crunch every time. So anyhow, we could see they were a good team, breaking quickly, dangerously. When you think of the game as a whole, he didn't have that many shots on target, and even at goal from either team. There was a lot of sort of dangerous moves and sort of threatening or thrilling incidents near the goal or inside the box. But as far as shots go, it wasn't a great game in that sense. Butland only had 2 saves to make, one near the beginning, one near the end, and both were 20 yards out, which he dived and saved. So that maybe summed it up. I don't know if their goalie even had a proper save. So anyhow, it was that kind of game, very tense, but end to end. So there was always something going on. When I think back to the beginning, I think it was in about the 10th minute, we had a good move where it was actually Lawrence who dispossessed the guy, ran forward, passed it to Silva. He'd kept running. Silva put him through in the box. Only the goalie ahead of him. His shot was straight to the goalkeeper. Wasn't even that much force behind it. And it went, funnily enough, between the goalie's legs, and it actually hit his heel, which was behind him. And but for that, it would have trundled into the net, but the heel hit it and put it past the post for a corner. So that was the nearest we came, probably in the first half when I think about it, actually. They had a long shot, as I say, that was comfortably saved by Butland. There was a lot of toing and throwing, but not a lot of goalmouth action in the first half. When I think back, Scott Wright had a shot when it was at the end of a decent move, and he got it right in the middle of the park, about 2 yards out from the 18-yard line, and he hit it about a yard or two over the bar. Nobody near him. Free shot at goal. and he puts it over the bar. So that sums him up. Give him his due though. In the first half, he did make one run where this was near the half time. He made one run where he got away from a couple of guys, passed it to the right, and it was Lawrence who put it into the box. But of course, there's Drossers 2 yards offside, and he couldn't even put it in the net anyhow. He only had the goalkeeper to beat, and he hit it straight at him. The goalie parried it away, but the flag went up anyhow. He was about 2 yards offside, as usual. So at least Wright did something good in that move. But I think there's one other thing he did well in the second half, and that was his contribution. So he was a dead loss. There was another move before that where it was a sweeping move by us right up the park. Goes to right, he runs forward with it, he's away from markers, and instead of passing it in front of, I think it was Lawrence on the right side, he hit it short and the move broke down when it was looking promising. That's more like him, just no end product, no final pass that's decisive. So anyhow, half time, nothing each. We knew it was going to be a tough second half. We knew it would take maybe a bit of luck or a breaks, maybe somebody slipping on the turf to open up a chance, that kind of thing. But it wasn't looking great, although obviously nothing each. You still think one goal, surely we can get one goal. And you're still thinking as well, Matondo and McCausland, Cantwell are going to come on in the second half, or at least with half an hour to go, and try and change the game. Not once we'd gone behind, as it turned out. So anyhow, second half starts, and I must say, we nearly scored in the second minute of the second half. Again, second thing right that Wright actually did when he ran up the middle, got away from two markers, ran to the edge of the box, nice pass right in front of Drossers inside the box. All he has to do is shoot with his right foot and it might go in the goal, well it should go in the goal, but no, he does his usual, he checks back onto his left, but instead of hitting it with his left, he hits it with his right anyhow. But by that time, the defenders have all regrouped and closed him down. So one of them just stuck out a foot and deflected it about a foot past the post, the far post. So that was the best chance we had, I would say, of the whole game. But unfortunately, it fell to Drosser, so no luck there. Anyhow, that was our best chance. Later on, there was all sorts of things happening, but not getting shots in really. Their best chance, I would say, before the goal came when Lundstrom lost the ball near the halfway line, just sort of trundled away from him, and like a shot they were up the other end. Di Maria running towards the byline puts a great low cross across the face of the 6 yard line. Nobody could get to it. Players trying to get to it, we blocked it, we managed to get it away for a corner, but that was the most dangerous thing they'd done up until then. And then I think it was just a couple of minutes before the goal, we should have gone behind because they had a nice move, another breakaway, the ball was cut back into the box, and thankfully the guy side-footed it right to Butland, who just had to grasp it, and that was the end of that. But that should have been their first goal. Our relief was only for a few minutes, because when we got that corner that Tavernier took and it went to the back post, headed into the middle, practically the whole two teams in the box at this point, and it was booted up the park, not even in our half, but in their half. You had Di Maria and Silva, who went on to score, and our only player was Diamande. And as it bounced, Di Maria got to it with his head before Diamande could, and it went to Silva, who raced in the whole half. He had to run the length of the half, raced in on the keeper and put it away nicely. I wasn't worried right from the first second he got that ball, because I knew he was offside. I said, don't worry, he's offside. And sure enough, once the ball went in the net, the flag went up, and we thought, see, offside, no problem. And then you see, VAR is checking it. Well, we knew they would anyhow, but I was still confident. And then the longer the review took, the more you worry, and then obviously the goal's awarded. And having seen it since on TV, and you look at it, the stills, he was onside, but when you look at it, his knee is actually above the halfway line, so you can't get much closer than that. 2 inches further forward and he's offside. So they were lucky, we were unlucky. Great finish from the guy. But why the hell, you're all thinking now, were we all up the other end? Why was Diomande the only guy just inside their half, maybe 10 yards inside their half, where everybody else was in the box? No Golson, Suter, not even a Yilmaz hanging back to the halfway line. Yilmaz, with his speed, might have been able to catch somebody, but Diamande's not fast, so why he was the furthest back, I have no idea. So that was quite a poor goal to lose, and you knew you were up against it then. I mean, we kept going, we kept forcing the play and trying to get that goal that would put us into extra time, but we never really looked like scoring. A lot of goal mouth kind of threats, but not really a shot at goal. I think near the end, Lundstrom had a 20-yarder that went straight to the keeper diving, so that was the nearest we came, really. So very disappointing when you think about it. Too many injuries, too many games. We were tired. Apparently, at the weekend, they had 3 or 4 players rested for their league game, whereas we were playing a tough cup tie at Easter Road. So you could see some of the players like Lundstrom were running on empty by the end of it. So you can't blame them for that. If anything, the biggest fault was that we didn't sign an out-and-out centre forward in January, and we all said that'll come back to bite us, and in this game it has. We can only hope it doesn't have the same effect in the games ahead of us, the cup games, the vital league games. So anyhow, put it past us for another year. At least we've raised our coefficient, our profile, we've gained more money. So a good run in Europe, that's as good as we can hope for, probably most years, at least while we've got the present players. Of the guys who played last night, Butland was fine again, a couple of saves, but no mistakes. Defence on the whole were fine. I thought Suter was the best of them. Yilmaz probably the next best. Golson didn't make as many mistakes as the previous few games. I thought Lundstrom was the best man in the team. He was all over the place. At times he was sitting as part of a back three, trying to shore up the defence, watching for breakaways. He was surging forward, he was passing it. So he was probably the best man in the team. Obviously Drossers and Wright were the worst guys. They were just pathetic. Silva had a few nice touches, but not enough. Obviously Diomande was one of the better guys as well. Some lovely touches, nice footwork. He's stronger than he looks, but sometimes he was caught out, a bit slow to react. But on the whole, he had a decent game, so we can't really complain. Good luck to Benfica. As for what's ahead of us, the next game's now the most important game. Up at Dens Park, we've got to beat them so that into the break we'll be 2 points at worst ahead of Celtic. We're into the semi-finals of the Cup against Hearts, and we've beaten them 3 times out of 3 this season already, so I expect to be in the final. So if we can go into the break at least 2 points ahead of Celtic, everything's still looking good for a treble. That'll do me. Europe's a bonus, the money, the coefficient points, that's fine, but winning things in this country, that's what counts. So let's win the treble, guys. Let's get players back who aren't fit right now, or who are trying to get back totally fit, and we'll be a much stronger team, and hopefully we'll be able to do better than we did last night against a team, I must say, that's the best team we've played against this season, and we won't play against a better team in the rest of the season either. So onwards and upwards.